Hello everyone, photographer Andredesignz here with a new retouch video. And before we start, let's look at the settings real quick. So I'm going to File, then I'm going down to File Info. So as you can see here, I was using the Sony a7 III. Well, it doesn't say a7 III, but I was using the Sony a7 III. I was shooting with the Samyang, also known as Rokinon autofocus 85mm f1.4 lens. For the exposure, which is the shutter, is 1/125th per second. I was shooting at 2.8 and ISO was at 125. Alright, so let's get right to the editing. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do, as usual, is to go to my frequency separation panel. Well, action, and you can download the action by going to my website. Well, you can check the description and you'll see the link there for you to go to my website. So yeah, for the radius, I'm gonna do 10. It's been a while since I've done 10. Alright, so I'm gonna go down to the low frequency layer, and then I'm going to get my mixer brush. The shortcut from my mixer brush is M, but what you would have to do is to go over where it says brush, and once you hit brush, what you could also do is to hold on shift and then press shift and then press B until you find the mixer brush, and the mixer brush looks like this. Or you can just hold on it like that and you should see another option here for the mixer brush. I took my mixer brush out and I only have like one brush right here, so you won't see the little arrow right here for you to see the other options. Alright, so enough about that. So once you're on the mixer brush, if it's the first time using the mixer brush, it's going to be like this, where you're going to have a color right here. Just unclick this button right here and then you're good to go. For the wetness, you're going to make sure that your wet is at 2% and everything else remains the same. Alright, so let's get right to it now. So ensure that you're on the low frequency layer. And then what we're going to do, we're going to mix different sections of the image. Alright, so basically you're going to mix to flatten the image. So, and it also, you know, even out the skin. So when you're mixing, ensure that you're mixing in one particular area at a time. So right here we have a highlight, so we're just going to mix the highlight only. Alright, I'm going to come here, we have a little shadow right there, so we're going to mix that. And then we're going to come here, here's a little bit dark, so we're going to mix that only. Here as well, right here. So you don't want to mix the highlighted area and then go to the area that has shadow. It's not going to look good. So I mean, there are times you can blend it out, but you just have to be careful how you do it. So I'm going under the eyes. Right here is a little bit dark and we have a little light area here, but you can actually mix right here and it will blend it out, because the shadowed area here is not as bright, well, not as dark as here. How should I say it? Basically, it's not too deep, so you can actually mix it to blend it out. Alright, so when you have situations like that, you can actually mix from the dark area to the bright area. But if it's too dark, for example, right here, you realize that there was a shadow there. Let me undo. You realize there's a shadow right here, and when I mix it over to the lighted area, it evens out the skin because it's not a hard shadow, so you can actually do that. But if it's too hard, I would not suggest it. You'll have problems. Alright, so that looks good. I'm going to come up to the forehead, do the same thing. Alright, that looks good. I hope you guys understand when I'm trying to explain certain things. Sometimes I can't really explain certain things, trust me. So forgive me if you do not really understand sometimes when I'm talking. But it's good, because I've never seen anybody in the comments area saying that they don't understand what I'm saying, so that's a good thing. Alright, so that's that. Do right here. I always want to do a full retouch using dodge and burn only, but I mean that's too time consuming, and for images like this would be perfect to do a retouch using dodge and burning only. But I'm gonna attempt it one day. Alright, let's look at it before and after for everything. So before and after. Good. So the next step now is I'm going to get the dodge. No, I'm not going to do dodge and burn it. I'm just going to clean up the skin first. I'm going to remove the blemishes from the skin. And normally I would recommend that you I'd recommend that you use the mixer brush on the skin first, and because if you have like pimples and stuff like that, it will soften the pimples, and it's easier for you to remove them. Alright, so I'm going to go to the high frequency layer, and then I'm going to press S on the keyboard for the clone stamp. Normally the clone stamp is over here, and then I'm going to zoom up my image, and then I am going to make selections for the clean areas and then mix over the blemishes. So right here is clean, so I'm going to hold on Alt on the keyboard and click once, and then I'm just going to do that. So I'm going to come down here, do the same thing, click once. Alright, so you have to ensure that your flow is at 100% as well as the opacity. It works faster. So all I'm doing now is to just click on one area that is clean and then mix over the pimples. I could also use the mixer brush, not the mixer brush, I could also use the patch tool, but I rather using the clone stamp. But I use both actually. The only thing I don't really use is the spot healing brush or the spot healing brush or the other one. I don't really use those. I mean, they're good tools to use, but I don't use them. I work better with the clone stamp and the patch tool. Alright, so she has some small little warts here. I'm not going to remove them because I want my image to look as natural as possible. So I'm just removing the pimples only. Just like that. Good. Alright, I think that is it. Let me come over this side and see if there's anything. It's also a good idea or a good practice to zoom in your images when you're doing removal of blemishes, because when you're zoomed in you will not miss anything. When you're zoomed out you tend to miss some of the little details that will do a lot for your images. But it's also good for you to zoom in and out at all times, because you will miss things if you're zoomed in sometimes, so you have to be careful. Alright, so right here I have a little blush right there, so I'm going to pull this up a little bit back. Good. So that happens because the brush was too big. So I'm just make it a little bit smaller and go in more. It doesn't have to be 100% clean. I mean, we just want it to look realistic. Right here. And it's best to, when you're retouching or when you're removing pimples or anything like that, you start from the top, come right down. Or you start from the bottom of the chin, or you start from the chin, go up, because you don't want to miss anything. Alright, everything looks good for me on this side. Alright, so I think I am done. Just gonna zoom out now, and then I'm going to do some dodge and burning. So I'm going to minimize this, and I'm going to go to dodge. I'm going to start with dodging. So dodging is basically highlighting. So I'm going to go to the areas where we need to add highlights. I'm going to press B on the keyboard for the brush. Alright, and my flow is going to be at 1%. Just going to paint the highlighted areas. So normally the nose bridge is going to be highlighted. And yes, I was shooting natural light, and she did her own makeup. So I want to blend here a little bit more right here. Alright, that looks okay. You don't want to add too much of one thing at a particular section because it's going to look fake. Let me just do that and that. Alright, that looks good. Under the eye, if you see here, it's kind of dark, so I'm just going to add some highlights there. Alright, let's look at it before and after for that now. Before and after. Good. I'm going to, you know what, I'm going to create another dodge layer. And I'm just going to do the same thing over here. Highlight. Alright, so I'm going to get my mixer brush and work on right here a little bit. So I'm going to come back down here to the frequency separation layer, and then come down to the low frequency separation layer. And then I'm going to press M on the keyboard for my mixer brush because that's my shortcut. And I'm just going to blend out right here a little bit. Just getting rid of the bag from under the eye. Alright, that looks good. So before, after. Good. I'm going to go back to my dodge layer and press B on the keyboard for my brush. Still at 1% for the flow. And I'm just going to lighten up here a little bit. Alright, good. So I'm going to zoom out. And then I'm going to go up here to the burn. And then I'm still at 1%, and ensure that your foreground is white when you're painting on black. And I'm going to do some burning. So that's the before, that's the after. I'm gonna come right here as well and do some more burning right there. That should be good. Alright, I think I missed. Let me go back to the dodge layer and I'm gonna mix the forehead right here. Just some highlights on the forehead. And I'm going to put some on the chin as well. Maybe right here as well. Yeah, that looks good. Alright, so let's look at the before and after for everything and see what it looks like. So I'm going to come down here. And then hold on Alt and click the button right here. So that's the before, that's the after. Let me zoom it up a little bit more. Before, after. Before, after. Good. We're going to work on the eyes now, so I'm going to clean the eyes by going to clean teeth and eyes. My brush is going to be at 30% for the flow. I'm just going to paint a little bit. Alright, right here as well. And if you look closely, you can see me in the eye right here. Taking the picture. Yeah, that's me. Alright. So there's nothing else I need to do for that. So now we're going to color the skin. As a matter of fact, here does not look even to me. I'm going to go back down to the frequency separation. You know what? I'm going to create a new frequency separation layer. So I'm going to close these. I'm going to go to the background layer and click frequency separation again. I'm going to stay at 4.6 for this one. And then the new one, so I'm going to write done on that one because I'm finished with that one. So I'm going to click on the frequency separation name, then I'm going to hold on Control Shift and then the right bracket to bring it to the top. Alright, then I'm going to go down to the low frequency layer again, press M on the keyboard for my mixer brush because that's my shortcut, and then I'm going to just blend here a little bit more. before and after. Right, so I just blend it out a little bit. Alright, good. So alright, so I'm going to color the image now. So I'm going to go to camera raw. I'm going to create a new layer by holding on Control Shift Alt E. Then I'm going to Control J to create another layer. Then I'm going to go up to filter, camera. Oh wait, that's not camera raw. Filter, camera raw. I'm gonna press auto and see what that looks like. Okay, so auto just brightens the image. I don't want that. So I'm gonna go down to where it says dehaze. Alright, right there should be fine. Then I'm gonna go to texture, add a little texture to the image. Maybe about 6. Then I'm going to add some shadows. Or maybe I should decrease the shadows. No, add a little bit of shadow. Well, actually no, I'm not gonna add any shadows to it. Alright, so I'm gonna work on the temperature of the image. So I'm gonna bring it down a little bit more so it looks a little bit warmer. Maybe about 3. You know what, let me try auto and see what it looks like. Okay, auto will give me a blue image. Alright, no, I don't want auto. Let me undo that. Alright, so I like the 4% of temperature that I add to it. Let me see if I can do a before and after. Alright, so this is the after, this is the before. I'm gonna go over to the HSL option right here, and I'm gonna play with the orange. That will change the skin color. Alright, that looks good. And then I'm gonna play with the greens a little bit. Maybe I could do that. I'm gonna do this. Something unrealistic for the first. Alright, yeah, I think that's good. Let me see here. Maybe I could play with this as well. It's just a subtle change. If you look right here, you'll see. Yeah, but let me try something. I'm gonna play with the hue. So all these options here are just the colors. It will just change the color. So I'm just playing around with it to see what I can get. I'm gonna move this here. I've never really used this option before, so I'm just playing around with it. Alright. Okay, this is not doing anything for me. Oh, I've never used this one before either. Let me just try this and see what it does. Okay, so this actually changes the green. Oh, I like this saturation. Oh, this looks good. I love this actually. So right here should be good. Alright, good. So I am done with the color grading of the skin. Gonna press OK. So all you have to do at times is just play around with the different color options in Photoshop just to learn what they do. So you can play around with your images now and see what it looks like. Alright, good. So I think I am done. I'm gonna add blue to it and see what it looks like. That looks really good. It looks rich. Alright, so guys, if you've learned anything from this video, please give me a thumbs up, please share, and subscribe if you're not subscribed to my channel, and also turn on the notification bell if it's not on. Alright, thank you guys for watching and stay tuned for more videos. Actually, next week you should be getting a behind the scenes, hopefully. Alright, thank you guys for watching, bye bye.